Coach Mason here with Dr. Dish Basketball. Now, I am super excited to be joined by Coach Townsend, one of the best in the business. I mean, yesterday we actually filmed last night and we did some really cool stuff, but I learned so much in that 2-hour frame of shooting with you. It just blew my mind. It opened up a whole bunch of new things. And to be honest with you, if I had a guy like you when I was in my prime shooting, I might not be here today. I might be still getting paid to put the ball in the hoop. So really excited about what you've brought here to Dr. Dish. And I know we're going to get to some more filming later today, but I'll give him a chance here to introduce himself. But we have some questions that we want to go through and really pick your brain on a few different things. I know there's a lot of players out there and parents and coaches that are wondering what they can do during this period of time to help their players get better. So let's dive in. So tell me a little bit about your background in basketball and how you worked your way to becoming a shooting coach.
Well, I've been a shooting coach now for 31 years. So I started when I was 19 working at a basketball shooting camp in Indiana. And I really discovered quickly how much I loved working with players in fixing their shots, what I could do to make them shoot straighter, shoot more consistent. And I really fell in love with, like, when you're bad, why are you bad? And then getting players good. So I left that company and worked for another company and kind of blossomed my philosophy that summer working for the main competitor. And then I started coaching at Gonzaga High School in Washington, D.C. Very good Catholic League school. I was there for 4 years as the shooting coach. During that time, I started contacting agents over the telephone, because this is pre-internet, and basically, let me work with your client, let me work with your client. And one agent let me work with his client, and it just grew from there, where I worked with one player, then another player, then another player, and then eventually the D League started, or now it's the G League. It used to be the NBA Development League. So in year 2 of that league, the president of the league was a Gonzaga High School graduate. So I contacted him and said, I want to be your shooting coach. It's a development league, and he said no. So I asked him again the next year. He said yes. So I was in the D League for 5 seasons as a consultant. I was a school teacher, so I would catch a red-eye flight from the West Coast and fly to the East Coast and then catch another flight to a small town, and I did that for 5 seasons, and then eventually I got a chance to start working with more and more NBA players in the summer, and that turned into a full-time job with the Portland Trail Blazers. So I was there for 3 years, and then I had a year off, and then I was with the Toronto Raptors for 3 years. My last year I was a consultant for them, but I was also a consultant for the Memphis Grizzlies. So I worked for 2 teams in 1 season. So I traveled a lot that year, and then I was with Memphis for 2 seasons, and I just finished 3 seasons with the Philadelphia 76ers.
So one thing that you said in there that I thought really stuck out to me is not only you looking for that opportunity, but being persistent and consistent with understanding where you wanted to go and getting that opportunity. And I tell my players all the time is be ready for your moment. You never know when that opportunity will come. And I can only imagine how ready you were to work with some of these players and be able to get that opportunity to show, truly what you had. With that being said, what are a few philosophies and things that separate you from other shooting coaches in the industry?
One thing I learned quickly in the NBA is it's a players' league. Nobody's paying money to watch you coach. They're paying to watch the players. So because of the players' size, abilities, work ethic, they are already established shooters. So you have to learn how to get them to master what they're already doing. So if they have a common mistake, you get them to master it. Now there's certain situations with a player's contract or age where maybe you have to turn them into an unestablished shooter to get them to an established shooter. So it just depends upon the player's contract, but what I've had a tendency to do is take what a player's already good at and then expand it to the free throw line or to three-point shooting or shooting on the move. They're usually good at one of those things and then being able to multiply that to the other aspects of the game.
So last night you talked a lot about not only the mechanics of shooting, but also the mental piece of it. So, what's your biggest challenge when working with players to improve their shot?
A lot of it has to do with mechanics, right? Last night I went over the 6 M's of shooting: the measurement, the mechanics, the motion, the maintenance, and their common mistakes. So, the mental part of it is when they miss, what goes through their head? Is it the end of the world? Well, then that's a bigger hurdle to come through. Or to jump over. So I also said last night, really good shooters have a short-term memory. The only one that matters is the next one. So that's the mentality.
I believe that. I know that there's periods of time in my career where it was like I was throwing a rock into the ocean. I was making every shot. And then, there was other portions of my career where it's like I felt like I'd never shot a basketball before because my confidence was so low. And I really needed that in my career at times for somebody to say, hey, just worry about the next shot. You're going to make the next shot. And that's something as a trainer myself that I try to continue to preach to my players as well, is just, hey, get over the hump, keep working, keep getting better. How has Dr. Dish shooting machines helped enhance your shooting sessions? I know you work all over the place. You've been doing some really cool stuff, but tell us a little bit about how the shooting machines have helped you enhance your training sessions.
For me, it has saved tremendous amounts of time, right? So being able to get on the court with a machine and a player and being able to get up hundreds of shots in 30 minutes just gave me the consistency to where I could work with players for, 2 legitimate NBA players at night for 45 minutes and be done with it. The best thing I like about Dr. Dish, as opposed to having, to a certain degree, younger coaches around, is the machine doesn't talk back to you. It doesn't throw in its coaching comments. And you just know that all it's going to do is rebound and pass, which it might be a mean thing to say, but there's times where less is more. And if a player's on a hot streak, you don't want to ride their coattails. And if they're on a cold streak, you want to be able to pick and choose what you say, how you say it, when you say it.
So we're currently in a pandemic, and things are completely different for everybody around the world. Sports have had to evolve. We have bubbles now. We have people getting tested. Training looks completely different. So how has your training and your engagement with players evolved during this period of time?
Everything that I've done since March is basically reach out to anybody and everybody that I know that I've worked with that are, younger kids. Some NBA players, but mostly younger kids, and I offer to work with them over Zoom. So being able to put in a pair of earbuds or AirPods into your ears, set up a phone on a tripod or a ladder or a stool, and just go out and I can put them through a workout. So it hasn't been nearly as good as working with players individually, but I've learned a lot through the process because now your words really matter. You really only get one chance to say what you want to say because, you only have 30 minutes for the phone call and things like that. So it's been an interesting process, good learning process.
Yeah, it's definitely been a shift, and you can tell with all the basketball minds out there, the people that are trying to evolve and are looking at this as an opportunity to grow. Whether you're a coach or a player or a parent, how can you grow from the circumstance that we're in? And when I talk to my players, that's one thing that I always like to mention is you can look at this as an opportunity, or you can look at it as this something holding you back. Are you getting into the gym and working on some of your weaknesses? Are you focusing on the things that maybe you wouldn't have looked at during an AAU season or a regular basketball season or a practice? How can you take this moment in time and become a better overall person and a player so that when that opportunity to step on the court does come back, you'll be ready to go, which is cool. So, everything that you said there, I think it hits home 110%. And with that being said, what are a few pieces of advice you would give parents, players, and coaches during this awkward period of time?
I think the best piece of advice I can give is this. In the United States, the main sports are basketball, baseball, football, and to a certain degree, here in Minnesota, hockey, and certain parts of the country, soccer. all of those sports, you need somebody to throw the ball to or catch the ball. You need other people. With basketball, all you need is a ball and a hoop, whether that's being able to go to the park if it's open, or in your driveway, or in a gym if you can get in one. But the frustration of missing shots causes the beauty of when you actually make it and it feels good. You referenced throwing a rock into the ocean, right? Or you can't hit water if you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat. So that's the beauty of it, the struggle of when you're good, why are you good, compared to when you stink, how do you get good? So even though there's nothing open, if you have a ball and a hoop, you can go somewhere and you can forget everything that's going on and just try to find the beauty in that struggle.
John, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with me. He already fixed my college teammate shot last night. Hopefully we have time, you can fix my shot. Maybe I'll make a comeback, I don't know. Or maybe I should just stay retired here. But we do appreciate you taking the time to come out and chat with us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.